What is going on, everybody? I am coming to you today to talk about the Han Solo Commander expansion for Star Wars Legion. Now, I'll admit I'm a little bit behind on this one. I have been very, very busy with Dice Tower Con 2018 this week, or this past week, so I apologize for not covering this expansion yet, because while I was working out there, they did have a preview, so I figure better late than never. Let's go ahead and talk about this expansion. Plus, I mean, it's cool. Han Solo's awesome. So let's talk about Han Solo. First off, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Speaking of the ugly, oh my gosh. The sculpt or the paint job. Not sure if it's... Sometimes a paint job can make a sculpt look different. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh because this paint job has a lot of really good things going for it. Like those boots, like the shading, the light hitting the boots looks really good. The pants look good. The material and the clothing look good. It's just the face. It looks like a different guy dressed as Han Solo. Like maybe this is Han Solo's stunt double. It just doesn't look like Han. So I'm hoping it's a deal. Like the Leia one that they had looked a little strange too, but I found that with my Leia, I'm more satisfied. She doesn't look as strange. Granted, I'm not that good of a painter, but I just did more of a simpler. I feel like there's too much detail on Han's face here, and in more detail than he has. So I feel like, and I'm spending a lot of time talking about this because that's the most interesting thing on this. Everything else in here we're going to talk about, all the other cards and everything on this picture. But if you're worried about the Han Solo face on this miniature, let's get yours in hand first and take a look, because sometimes there's a little bit of difference between like the prototype and the production copy. So maybe it'll be different. Maybe you won't do as good of a paint job, and thus it will actually look a little bit more like Han. I think this person, whoever did this paint job, was trying to do such an amazing job that they put so much detail in there. It ended up just coming out a little different. I don't want to be too harsh. I'll be honest though. I don't like the paint job on just the face. Everything else though, I mean, this person's clearly a fantastic painter. I think they just missed the mark on the face. If I'm trying to temper my criticism, they're way better than I am. So that being said, I try to be nice. Because that's how I would want somebody to be for me. If somebody was criticizing my paint, I would want them to be nice if they can, because we should all be nice. All right. So let's talk about the Han Solo unit card. So Han is pretty awesome. All right. He's got 2 red dice, Pierce 2. So those 2 red dice are going to go through, and Surge to crit. So he can actually hurt vehicles. He can shoot vehicles, and he has a 25% chance to get damage in. And and if they're both damaged, then they're both going through. So that much is nice. Or I should say armored vehicles. So Han has low profile. So while defending, if you have light cover, improve your cover by 1, which basically means anytime Han Solo gets shot, now he's going to have suppression or a suppression token. Now he's going to have heavy cover anywhere. So that's how you get, like, if Hannes gets stressed out, that's how he gets that brave, like, I'm just going to charge all of these stormtroopers like in episode 4. So that's kind of cool. But if you catch him off guard and he has no cover at all or no suppression, then he has nothing. He has Gunslinger, this is the moneymaker. This is the power word right here. After you perform a ranged attack action, you may perform an additional ranged attack against a different unit. So you can go 1, 2. So and you can't loop that together because the first one has to be an action. The second one's just a bonus attack. So you can only do 1 attack action, but you can do as many attacks if they're somehow granted to you that you can do. So Gunslinger, great ability. It's tempered by the fact that he's only ranged 1 to 2, so you have to kind of get in close. Low profile helps you do that. Sharpshooter 1, while performing a ranged attack, reduce the defender's cover by 1. So even if they're already suppressed, you can still shoot them without that suppression canceling one of your dice. Your Pierce 2, you're more likely to get 2 damage. You're extremely likely to get your damage through. And then Uncanny Luck, this one is the crazy one. 3, Uncanny Luck 3. While defending, you may reroll up to 3 defense dice, which is pretty cool. So Again, he's only got the white defense dice, but he does have the defensive surge. So he's got a 2 out of 6 chance. With the rerolls, it's kind of like a 4 out of 6 chance of actually blocking damage. So he's got, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's better than a Stormtrooper, conditionally. 6 health, 2 courage, both surges. I mean, the best surges. Speed 2. Speed 2 is not bad. His white dice for melee are a little interesting. All right, I thought he was better in a fight, than white dice. But 3 dice for 1 mini, I guess, isn't bad, especially with that surge to crit. So then you got a 2 out of 8. So you actually have like a 6 out of 8 chance of. He doesn't have pierce on his brawl though. It's not like he's got like pointy fingernails. It'd be really cool if somebody had melee with pierce. Well, I guess some of the vehicles do, right? So, and then he's got the command upgrade, the new upgrade, and then the equipment upgrade. So they show his. We're going to talk about his command cards, because his command cards are pretty cool. So first off, sorry about the mess. 0 pip, totally thematic. Love that art too, by the way. While building a command hand, treat this card as though it has 1 pip. When Han Solo is issued an order, he gains an aim token and a dodge token. So if you're curious about this, all right, this is a 1 pip that beats all other 1 pips. Okay, that's basically that's why there's 0 pips here. It's not a printing error. It's a 0 pip. In other words, the lowest pip goes first. In other words, Han always shoots first. When you play this card, you can guarantee that Han's going to go first. That right there is actually pretty huge if you're into metagaming and you're really into like trying to play mind games with your opponent. Just having the ability where you can be like, all right, if I do this, maybe I need to go take an objective or whatever, but I'm going to put myself out there. And if I don't end up going first next turn, I'm dead. But you can guarantee that you go first. It is a bummer if you're playing against a Han Solo, because you're going to know that they can guarantee that you don't go first on any given turn. The only way it's not a guarantee is if there's if it's a mirror match and there are 2 Han Solos. But additionally, this has the ability to give Han a dodge and an aim when you issue him an order. I don't know if he really needs the aim quite so much, but again, this is all about being guaranteed. With his 2 red dice, Pierce 2, and an aim token, you have an awful lot of guarantees. Plus the dodge token too. It's a good card. It's a good card. Reckless Diversion. This is his 2 pip. Again, we were talking about him charging down the halls of the Death Star after all of those guys. When an enemy unit performs an attack, it must attack a trooper unit that has a face-up order token if able. So this is 2. He's given 2 people an order, Han Solo and a trooper. So this is not particularly good for vehicles, right? Or is it? Right? Because this one is pretty interesting. So you're going to give Han one, you're going to give another trooper one. Any trooper. Could be Rebel troopers. Fleet troopers might be a good one since they have defensive surge, right? Or heck, Luke Skywalker, since he's a trooper. If you're going to do Han and Luke, you can issue Luke the other order, and because it doesn't have to be core, it just has to be trooper. And if Luke isn't going to have the dodge to be able to deflect since you're playing this one. So that much, you'll be all right. Unless you have somebody that can give Luke a dodge, and then you couldn't do that with Leia because then you'd have Han, Luke, and Leia. So still, if you have somebody that's all right. So you're not really worried about that, but I'm trying to think of like all the broken combos that you can get out of this. But basically, you're forcing somebody that if they're going to attack, they have to attack this unit. Now, sometimes you might think that that's a good idea to maybe force somebody to attack like a unit that's almost dead. But in Legion, your units that are almost dead are still useful as unit leaders, so you kind of want to get them to get the objective. So you don't want to do that. You're kind of more likely to want them to attack somebody that has really good defense. And Luke doesn't have that defensive surge, but he does have the red defense dice. So you might actually want to have, if Luke is full health, you might want to give it to Luke. Otherwise, you might want to give it to a fleet trooper. They have the defensive surge and the white, but only the white die. But maybe they're full health. There's lots of options. So, but yeah, you're forcing people, and especially if you do have like a weakened Luke Skywalker, and you don't want them to be able to kill Luke on the first activation. And this might be something you do to Trump if you're doing a mirror match. You think they're going to play, you think they're going to play Sorry About the Mess. You might play Reckless Diversion, and now Han is going to, have at least one of those shots. Well, yeah, because Han's got, gunslinger. But at least one of those shots are going to have to go for the face-up turret. So it's basically a taunt. You're making somebody out to be the tank. And also Han, too. They're going to have to shoot Han as well if they can. But then Han can issue this from up to 3 away, so he might be out of the picture. Change of plans. Han Solo and 2 units. So this one can go to... The 2 units can be anybody. Look at Chewie in the background. Alright, so when this card is revealed, you may discard it to return an opponent's command card to their hand. If you do, return to the select command card step. That opponent cannot select the command card that was returned to their hand. So basically what this means is you play this, when this card is revealed, you may discard it. So if you don't discard it, then this is just regular Han Solo and 2 units. That's all. But what this also does is it says you can look at the other opponent's card. If it's something like, oh, you played your 0 pip, or you're Darth Vader and you played his 1 pip or something, and that's gonna be bad for me right here. I can just say no, I'm gonna discard it. I'm gonna lose this card, and we're gonna play change of plans. We're gonna go back. We're gonna pick different cards. Now this one's gone because you discarded this card, but you have to pick a different card now. You can't pick that same card. The problem comes in is what if, let's say I went Vader Veers, and I picked all of their pips and all I had was standing orders. And let's just say Vader and Veers both died. And so I lost all of their cards. And now all I have left that I can even play is standing orders. And I play standing orders and you do change of plans. Does that mean I get to activate nobody? So... it's interesting because it is in theory possible for you not to activate anybody if you don't have any trooper unit leaders. Like if you have an ATST and that's all that's left, granted you don't need to activate orders at that point, but yeah, that's something to think about. And then so we got some upgrades. We have emergency stims. So this is an equipment. It's exhaustible. It's 8 points, so it's a little expensive. During an attack, when you would suffer wounds, prevent up to 2 wounds. Place an equal number of wound tokens on this card instead. So, prevents 2 damage. You put 2 damage tokens on this card, right? If you do, at the end of your next activation, discard each token on this card and suffer wounds equal to the number of tokens discarded. So, this one is just like a good way to save your life. I mean... that just seems to make sense. It gives you like one more chance, I think that's a great idea for a card, especially if it's turn 6, because that can totally keep, because since you won't, especially if it's the last round, it can keep you alive and you won't have a next activation, so you won't actually die. I bet you that will show up in an FAQ somewhere. I bet you somebody's going to do this, win a tournament with it, and be like, but I did enough damage to kill him, and they're going to be like, oh, but the damage was on emergency stims, and then you'll see an FAQ one day, and they'll be like, well, everybody's doing that, so damage on emergency stims does count towards the end of the game. I don't know. Maybe not. But it seems like a pretty cool card. Duck and cover. Chewbacca's on 2 cards. Well, of course, in a Han Solo expansion, you're going to get his buddy Chewie. While defending against a ranged attack, during the apply, dodge, and cover step, you may gain a suppression token. 8 points. Now, let me ask you a question. Why would you voluntarily want to gain a suppression? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm talking to myself here, right? In case you were asking why you would want to gain a suppression during the dodge and cover step, it's because suppression increases your cover value by 1, right? So if you're getting shot by maybe stormtroopers and they rolled 1 hit, you might just say, oh, well, I will just gain a suppression token. Now I have light cover and I cancel that hit. Better to have a suppression than to lose a troop, right? Or maybe you do have light cover. Maybe you're behind a bush or a tree, and like Chewbacca here is in this picture. He's behind a tree with light cover. Gain a suppression token. Now you have heavy cover. So maybe you can cancel 2 dice instead of 1. It's just a good option. It's a good option to have, especially if you're somebody like Han Solo. Like the commanders, they have that higher value. So if Han doesn't, and this was really good with Han's ability because look at Han Solo now. With duck and cover, this, I'm going back a little bit. All right, with low profile, he can just instantly gain heavy cover at any point in time. Oh, you're attacking me and I have no cover? All right, duck and cover. I have a suppression, which doesn't bother me at all because I'm 2, so I would need even 4 to panic. But so 1 suppression isn't going to hurt him. Now he cancels 2 of those hits, right? Now he'll probably gain another suppression at the end of that. Oh, maybe Leia's nearby so she can remove one of them to make sure that he, doesn't have to worry about rally. So let's see, what else do we got here? Duck and cover and, improvised orders. So improvised orders. Now this one isn't as exhaustible. After an order is drawn from a friendly order pool, draw a second order token from that order pool. Choose one to use and shuffle the other back into its order pool. If you do, during the end phase, ready this card. So, interesting. So basically, you pull something you don't like. Well, I'm like, oh, okay. After an order token is drawn. So you basically tap this. All right, I got 2 cards. Oh, you know what? I'll do that. And then you can ready this one during the end phase. That's not bad. So that's not bad at all. I like that you don't have to rest to reuse it, but it is 10 points. That's pretty expensive. Again, and a lot of the lists that I've run lately, they're so core heavy. I don't think this is really going to be that big of a deal. I think this will be a much bigger deal once Special Forces come out. Now you have more, a wider variety of units in your pool. And I think this is when that sort of thing is going to become meaningful. Right now in Legion, it's all about massing core units. That's pretty much all everybody does. And it's not that they're trying to be cheesy. It's just that's kind of all we have. I mean, you have to have at least 3. And, there's so few other troopers. None of the supports are troopers right now, the ones that are available as of the recording of this video. None of the heavies are troopers. Your commanders are troopers, but your commanders are mostly really, really expensive. So, so once Special Forces come out, I think we're going to see a lot more list variety, and that's exciting. A card like this might actually be really helpful if you got like two support, 2 Special Forces, 4 core, 2 commanders, something like that. Now you've like, all right, well, now we need to try to pull the right unit. So this could be really good for a very diverse list. And that's the preview. This is going to be coming out, I think, in the end of the month. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. Later in this week, we're also getting the Battlefield Supplies expansion for Legion. So a lot of Legion stuff coming up. Hopefully I'll get some more battle reports for you guys. And other Legion-related news, in other Legion-related news, we also did an unboxing and review of the Mel Miniatures Star Wars Rebels Ghost Crew set. So check that out. I'll put a link to that over here as well. So check that out. Thank you guys so much. Again, I want to thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to all the patrons out there. I want to thank you guys for all of your support. I couldn't do this without you guys, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.